Right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. Week 2 is here, football. And I want to go over the games, preview the games, talk about the scoring and the odds and everything else. So, we did that last week. We'll continue to do it this week. I'm going to be doing it every week. Again, previewing, betting, odds, and all that stuff, over-unders for those that like to bet on the games. And I'll be doing this every week. So if you're a football fan, no matter who your team is, I will be previewing the games and give you all the pertinent betting information as you might need it. So be sure to hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss this type of stuff. And I'll preview the games. I'll give you all different types of breaking news and relevant news, no matter who your team is. So we'll continue to do that. But now let's move over to this week. Pittsburgh is visiting Cleveland, okay? Cleveland's a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under on that game is 38.5 points. And New Orleans Saints are visiting Carolina. New Orleans is a 3-point favorite. Over-under on that game is 39.5 points. Miami's visiting New England. Clash of AFC East Titans here. Miami's actually a 3-point favorite, and the over-under on this game is 46.5, so I expect some pretty good scoring here as well. And the Washington Commanders going to go visit Denver. Denver's a 3.5-point favorite. The over-under on that game is 38.5 points. Really, really interesting to see how Russell Wilson does in his second year with the Broncos. Really, really fascinating to see. And then San Francisco 49ers go visit the LA Rams. San Francisco's a 7.5-point favorite. The over-under on that game, 45.5 points. So we'll see what Brock Purdy does here, and as well as the rest of the team. And then Indianapolis Colts visit the Houston Texans. Houston's a 1-point favorite, and over-under on that game is 39.5 points. That's going to be an interesting one, too. Now, pivoting over to Kansas City, Super Bowl champ Kansas City Chiefs are going to visit the Jacksonville Jags. Kansas City is a 3.5-point favorite. Over-under on that one is 51.5 points. Any game you have, especially if Kelsey's healthy again, any game you have with Pat Mahomes in there is going to be a relatively high-scoring game. So 51.5 points there. The Chicago Bears are visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, 2.5-point favorite, and over-under on that game is 41.5 points. LA Chargers visiting the Tennessee Titans. LA is 2.5-point favorite. The over-under on that game is 45.5 points. Seattle Seahawks are going to visit the Detroit Lions, surprisingly upstart team too, who can be they can make a run this year, I think. Detroit's a 4.5-point favorite, and the over-under on that game is 47 points. Baltimore Ravens are visiting the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati's actually a 3.5-point favorite, and the over-under on that game is 46.5 points. Las Vegas Raiders visiting the Buffalo Bills, who were defeated last week by the New York Jets. Buffalo's a 7.5-point favorite, and the over-under on that game is 46.5 points. That'll be an interesting one. And the last couple games here, we got the Green Bay Packers visiting Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta's a 1.5-point favorite. Over-under on that game is 40 points. And the New York Jets are visiting the Dallas Cowboys, who massacred the New York Giants last week. Dallas is an 8.5-point favorite in this one, playing in Dallas. And the over-under on that game is 38.5 points. So it's up to the Jets' defense, see how well they can shut down Dak Prescott, that offense, and that offensive line. So we'll see how well they do here. Should be a closer game than the Giants game, but we'll see. We will see, particularly since the Jets do not have Aaron Rodgers on the quarterback now. So it'll be really interesting to see. And lastly, the New York Giants visiting the Arizona Cardinals. Giants are 4.5-point favorites. And the over-under on that game is 39.5 points. So those are the games, gang. Okay? Let me know what you think, who your team is, and who you think is going to hit the splits, and who you think is going to hit the odds. And, if you want to go over predictions, we can go over that as well. But tomorrow's going to be an exciting week of football. Now, I want to give a shout-out and a special thank you to the Morning Brew Sports crew and Nathan Ramachandra for having me on their panel this morning. We talked football with Randy Starks, former NFL player, defensive end, okay, 2-time Pro Bowler, is now a current coach. And we had a great conversation, and we got into some insights and stuff about him. We talked about the Deion Sanders coaching, now the philosophy and how the game has changed and so on. So take a look at that, all right? And Morning Brew Sports, be sure to subscribe to that channel because they do everything from baseball to football to basketball to hockey, do everything. So Again, shout out to you guys. Again, shout out to Randy for coming on and talking to us. But one of the questions I asked him is, if you could change one rule in the game, what rule would it be? If you can get rid of a rule, what would it be? And he was talking about the touchback. There's a lot of talk about the touchback. And again, touchback essentially, if a ball is fumbled in the field, right, a play, and goes forward into the opponent's end zone and over the line, obviously, a touchback is credited to or awarded to the defensive team. So again, defense pushing back towards the offense into their territory, and it gets credited to the defensive team. And he was wondering why. Why only defense? Why not offense? And it's a good question. I wanted to run it by you, and I want to know what you think. Again, good question, Randy. I mean, really, it's a good comment of conversation, good talking piece. Why is it only awarded to the defensive team? Is it because they're pushed into the enemy territory and took the momentum? Why would it not be awarded? Or is there any situation in which it would be awarded to the offensive team? So again, shout out to Randy Starks for that. I really appreciate that conversation, and he brings some good insight. But I want to know what you folks think. Should it automatically go to the defensive team, the touchback? So, and it's an interesting rule. It's an interesting conversation. And once we're ready to live stream, this is why I want to get to 1,000 subscribers as quickly as possible, so we can start live streaming and have live talks about this. And I can have guests from the NFL on the channel, and we'll continue to do this as well. Invite some other people in here too, and other football channels, and we can have some live discussions. We can get their insight, we can get your insight, and everything else. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It's greatly appreciated. I thank you for that. But that was the question: touchback. Like, what are your thoughts on the touchback? Okay, let's get into this a little bit. Load up the comments. Give me your feedback. Okay, and thank you again, Randy, and everybody else for coming on and talking. And those are the previews for all the games tomorrow. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you all next time.